Jim Carrey, he elevates it to 100%. So many iconic lines. He's just so entertaining in the role, and there is a reason why he is chosen as Dr. Eggman. What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. It is Epictastic Joshua here, if you're new here. I talk movies, TV, and on a few occasions, music and anime. My name is Joshua Drake, and we are going to be talking about a movie that has been requested to me by Vader 2005-91. He's been wanting this for quite some time, and I've been wanting to talk about this for quite some time. I had plans to do it last year, but you know how things went. But no excuses this time. I'm going to talk about this. The Mask. The Mask is a 1994 comedy superhero film based on the Dark Horse comics of the same name. This is directed by Chuck Russell, stars Jim Carrey, Peter Riegert, Peter Greene, Amy Yasbeck, Richard Jennings, and Cameron Diaz. The premise of this movie is that we follow Stanley Ipkiss, and he plays an ordinary man who's down on his luck, and basically he's working at a bank employee who is mistreated and taken advantage of by people. So what happens is, one day he finds a magical wooden mask that transforms him into a titular green-faced troublemaker that has the ability to cartoonishly alter himself and surroundings at will. But he also has a little fling for Tina. Mask is one of those movies that put everyone on the map when this movie's come out. This movie has a amazing legacy behind it. Years later, people still talk about this movie. This is, of course, based on the Mask character of the comics, which is more darker and such, but the producers and filmmakers wanted to go in a different approach. So, and I think that decision was for the better. But this movie is known for having a legacy. This was one of the most profitable films based on the comic up to the point that it was, because comic book movies were still finding their footing after Superman 4 killed them, and then before Batman and Robin killed them again. It influenced the resurgence of swing music, and this established Cameron Diaz as the leading lady, which was her first film, and it cemented Jim Carrey's reputation as an actor of the 90s. So a lot of things has to be taken into account for this. This got an Academy Award for Best Visual Effects, but it lost to Forrest Gump. And we had a standalone sequel, which I will get to that. For this first film, this movie is still simply one of the best of its kind and one of the best comedies of the 90s. It's just one of those movies that you're in a happy mood, and it doesn't age. When people say what is the best Jim Carrey movie, a lot of people have different answers, but this is my favorite of him at his best. Starting off with the positives of this movie, I have to say for this movie is, of course, just pure fun. It's pure fun. This is the 90s, of course. The comedy for a PG-13 movie is really well done. It's not afraid to be mature. It's not afraid to even get cartoonish at points. You have Looney Tunes references, a lot of different comedic timing, and it's all thanks to the writing and the direction of Chuck Russell, who is a great director, and he is just a fantastic director. Nightmare on Elm Street 3, he's done other works like this. The man knew what he was doing, and I think he's an unsung hero in directors, because he did movies like The Blob, a remake and such, and he did Nightmare on Elm Street 3 and The Scorpion King. The guy is just one of those filmmakers who knows he knew what he was doing, even with stuff like Eraser and such. The man knows what he was doing as a director, and it definitely showed here in this movie. He knew what he was doing. He really does go for it. I think he actually puts a lot of effort into what he's doing, and I think the way he goes at it just really makes it entertaining and makes it interesting. I think his directing is what keeps this movie afloat. is very well directed. You have some great moments here, and it just made it just such a fun thing here. It's just bombastic and fun. It's very fun. I really think this is a great directing effort from him. Performance of Jim Carrey. If we talking about The Mask, we gotta talk about Jim Carrey himself as Stanley Ipkiss. He is a character that he's just trying to get by as a bank job. He's being told what to do and such, you know, the usual. But Jim Carrey is The Mask. Even if you try to reboot this, whether it's darker comics or such, there is no topping Jim Carrey. You cannot argue this. Jim Carrey is The Mask. There is a reason why this launched him into leading man status and comedic status. His comedic timing is everything. His funny voice impressions, his sense of charm as Stanley is perfectly crafted with the help of his improvisational abilities and great acting. But it also helps with the writing and directing, because without that, you wouldn't really have The Mask. It would just be some generic character. But Jim Carrey, he elevates it to 100%. So many iconic lines. Did you miss me? I guess not. And we know the infamous line, which I'm gonna play it here. Smokin. He's just so entertaining in the role, and there is a reason why he is chosen as Dr. Eggman. And I look forward to seeing what Jim Carrey does in Sonic the Hedgehog 3. Even though he said he was going to retire, we all knew he wasn't really going to leave. Jim Carrey, he is the best actor to do it as The Mask, and he does a very good job in the role. Supporting cast in this movie is also really good too. It's a very good supporting cast. You have a good villain, of course, which Greene, of course, you know the villain of this movie. Peter Greene is Dorian Tyrell. He is a mafia officer. You know what you're getting out of him. He is pretty much an asshole throughout this whole damn movie. But I think the performance of him is what sells it, because he's so good at playing the asshole here. And he's a character you love to hate. Even in the Mask form, he's still hateable as hell.
Mr. Simpson, would you please shut up, Judge?
You also have Richard Jennings, who as Charlie, who he passed away in 2007, and I think he really did a good job in terms of what he's given. Regé Cafty, I thought he was fantastic in his role. Milo, the dog Milo, I love Max as Milo. When he becomes The Mask, is really funny, but he's just such an adorable dog. Jolie Fisher here for her small screen time. She's only in the beginning, so don't expect much. Ben Stein as Dr. Arthur Newman, who's like, please don't touch the mask display. Ow. Sir, that is museum property. The Mask is a creation of Loki. He's really fun too. I cannot go on and talk about The Mask and not talk about the woman of the hour. Y'all know this is coming. I grew up having a crush on this woman with Shrek and Charlie's Angels, but this was her very first movie that said she was gonna be something, and I'm happy she's out of retirement now. Maybe we could get a Charlie's Angels 3 with her, Lucy Liu, and Drew Barrymore. Cameron Diaz, the great, amazing, sexy Cameron Diaz. It's Tina Carlyle. She is fantastic overall for her first movie. They could have gone with anyone else. I've seen it behind the scenes. They wanted people like Anna Nicole Smith to do this, but she said no, of course. And it was originally going to be written as a good girl who's actually bad, but Cameron Diaz got casted and they rewrote to make her genuinely a good person. And Jim Carrey have really good chemistry and really good departure. They're fantastic together. I love their chemistry. They're so likable, and it's just such a genuine, heartfelt romance that it earns its stripes. And not only she's great as Tina Carlyle, but for her first movie, probably one of the most hottest appearances she's ever looked.
Victory is mine! I love you.
Cameron Diaz, she's very stunning here, especially the opening scene when she first shows up. As a kid, I'm watching this movie on cable. I really liked that as a kid, but seeing it now as an adult, I'm even more spellbound. And whether the projects are good and bad, Cameron Diaz can always try and deliver. Editing, the soundtrack, the score, the technical aspects, all of that is really well done for the $23 million budget. Everything in this movie is just handled very well. I love the soundtrack in this movie too. And Industrial Light and Magic does a really good job here in terms of that. With the makeup and the mix of CG. It's not just Industrial Light and Magic and Dream Quest, but they also did some good makeup here, and this is a great combination of makeup and computer generated imagery. I like that, but the song choices are what really makes it good. You have Escape, Harry Connick Jr., Tony Tone, Jim Carrey himself doing singing Cuban Pete, and you have swing music. I genuinely have no complaints with this movie. I have no complaints to talk about this movie. None. This is legit a very entertaining film that I just have so much fun watching. You would be a damn fool to find some complaints, and so far this is the only good one in the series. Overall, this is one of the greatest 90s films ever, and one of my favorite comic book movies of all time, and one of my favorite comedies of all time, and my favorite Jim Carrey film. A great performance by him, a nice lead lady, fun banter, just overall a fun time at the movies. If you are a fan of this, if you are a fan of Jim Carrey, or if you're a fan of comic book movies and you've never seen this, watch this. This is fun. I really enjoyed this. There's not much more you can say about this. This is a 90s masterpiece. It's just too bad the sequel couldn't live up to this. And it spawned a great animated series. Well, that's going to do it for the video that you just watched. If you want to see more, my channel icon is up here. If you want to see more content from me, all my social medias are right here in this end card. I will also leave a playlist and a video here for you to see what the channel is about. As always, acknowledge me, stay epictastic, join the Epictasticness, and you guys keep it cool.